Okay, it's 10:48 in the morning. I don't know if we've got a one-taker or not. Today was pretty busy. So we got up with the intention to take the E60 over to our friend's house here. They have a kind of a shop, a big garage and a lift and a bunch of tools, and we're going to get under there and poke around and figure out what that front suspension issue is. So we kind of bet and hoped that we'd start the car and it would run enough to get us over there. That was not the case. We were greeted with the same issues as yesterday, which is a 2,000 RPM red line. You cannot exceed 2,000 RPM or about third gear. And 2,000 RPM in third gear is like 20 miles an hour. I think exactly 20 miles an hour. So we couldn't go over 20 miles an hour, and it takes forever to get there, and it's worse uphill. So there's no way we can take the car out on public roads like that. It's all it can do to drive around the block in this residential neighborhood. So we turned it off, waited a couple of minutes, got out, locked, get back in, restart, same thing. So we gave up on that. We brought it back here. I don't know what's wrong with it. I can't get INPA to work. I didn't know what's wrong with it. I couldn't get INPA to work. I didn't bring a peak reader. O'Reilly's pulled a 1209 code, which is totally ambiguous. So we jumped in the F10, we went over to the store, we had to get some groceries. We got some more orange juice, we got some yogurt, we got some basic food. All we had was Coke and bananas and some stale chips. So we got that done, came back here. Yesterday I posted to the E39, E60, and F10 M5 owners groups on Facebook asking if anybody in the San Diego area has a scanner tool that would A, allow us to perform the battery reset, and or B, pull DME codes in something more generic than the P codes. I don't want generic P codes, I want BMW specific codes. So one guy replied out of all those owner group, out of all of those Facebook groups, and he's from the E39 group. He's an E39 guy. Those are the best guys out there. And he's from, well, I guess he was from Alabama, but he lives in Panama City, Florida. And he was flying here to San Diego today for business, I think for like 2 weeks. And he said he was going to bring his Carly scanner thing, OBD, and then the Carly app on the iPhone or Android, and that would work. So I was very appreciative of that. He landed in San Diego about 2, he checked into his hotel, and he drove all the way up here. Never met this guy, I've never talked to him before. That's the kind of community that these cars can have. It's so cool. So he comes up here, really nice guy, plugs the thing in, there's all kinds of codes. We looked at him, screenshotted him, reset it, started the car again, and it does the same thing, goes in limp mode. So he's Googling the codes and he sees people talking about mass air meters. So we unplug both mass airflow meters and start the car, and it comes up and it says the same thing, engine malfunction, reduced power. But instead of a 2,000 RPM red line, now it's a 6,500 RPM red line. The car now goes over, I didn't take it over about 40 or 50 miles an hour, but it revs and it's drivable to an extent now. So that's leading me to believe bad mass air meters. And that happened in my 330, it happened in the M5. It doesn't idle right, it doesn't drive right. Somehow, just like overnight, flip of a switch, night and day, they go from being fine to the car runs like total crap, like it's on 3 cylinders. So we've ordered mass airflow meters. They're $300 and something a piece for the genuines, or 88 bucks a piece for the Bosch. You can guess what we went with. So they're going to be here on Wednesday. We're going to put the MAFs in. I also ordered the Carly scanner, so we'll be able to actually get some codes on that stuff now. It's coming Amazon Prime, and I already have the pro version of the app on my phone. So I guess the plan is we'll plug the new mass air meters in, reset everything, and drive it, see what we get. I also saw a code for a steering angle sensor, which has been known to come up when you replace the battery and you got voltage issues. And there's also a code for some, I forget the abbreviation now, some generator CESB, not DSC or anything we've ever heard of. And that could be something with alternator, we don't know yet. So whatever, we're going to reset stuff and just see what happens when we get the new MAFs in there. But in the meantime, it is drivable. So there's so much going wrong with that car. It went from being totally fine to not driving and lit up like a Christmas tree, and it's all sorts of dicked. But we're making progress with it. We also spent some time doing typical Sunday stuff. We vacuumed the house, he cleaned the counters this morning, and all of that. And then Blair, our friend, came over tonight. We went downtown San Diego to check out his car. He's got an E39 M5. It needs a lot of attention. It's going to be parted, which is a shame. It's an 03 with 90,000 miles on it. Carbon black on a Silverstone extended interior. 90,000 mile 03, made in the last 5 days of E39 M5 production. That car easily could have been a $40,000 or $50,000 car these days if it had been kept nice. If it had been well kept, and it's not. Every single body panel on it is trashed, for lack of better word. So it's unfortunate, but it's got a good motor in it, probably good transmission, driveline. Mechanically, aside from the front suspension where it had been damaged before, wasn't terrible, but cosmetically it is not pretty. So that was today. I'll keep you updated with the E60 and all of this crap. We're doing some retrofitting soon. Everything's hitting at once, but now that we'll actually have a scanner, hopefully be able to deal with some of this stuff. If I have to do the angle sensor, I thought that was down on the front suspension somewhere, down on the steering rack. No, it's this thing, you take the airbag out and the steering wheel out, and then it's this disc thing that sits in there. I'm going to try to recalibrate it too. I think if you go full lock left, full lock right, do that a couple times, it might recalibrate, and it might need that after not having a battery in it overnight or a new battery and stuff like that. We were able to reset the battery, so that's good. But that's what's going on. I'm going to bed. We'll talk on Monday. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Also, one last thing. iPhone vlog, yeah, it looked pretty decent. I will never do that again. It generated like 10 gigs of footage in 4K that took forever to import, took forever to render, took forever to export. Upload wasn't a problem because we got 20 megs up here. Audio's way too quiet. It's not as good as this camera. You know, it's great for a phone, but a cell phone's never going to replace a standalone camera, even a little dinky point and shoot like this thing. So we're back in 1080 and we're going to stay in 1080, but in a pinch I guess the iPhone can work if it has to. So we'll talk Monday. Good night.